There has been much talk about home-based F&B businesses, and if you are wondering what the heck is going on, watch on because while it seems like there is a saga brewing, there actually isn't any. So, how did it start? It all kind of started when reports of eateries closing down due to high rental gained traction. Now, you can decide whether rental is the real problem or whether it's the competitors of the F&B owners that caused the closure. But the joke is that when Wagga Wagga in Holland Village closed down soon, it can just tumpang its signboard since there's a high chance that Maga will take over. Nevertheless, there's still a perception, whether erroneous or not, that F&B in retail establishments are being squeezed hard by landlords or suppliers. And here's the thing, during this period, over in TikTok, home-based F&B businesses also started to go viral. When I say home-based F&B businesses, I'm not talking about the typical home-based businesses that we see during COVID-19. You know the home-based baker whereby you order the food via Instagram and then the home-based baker send the cake to you via Lalamove with a thank you card and then you meet up with the baker and like her and then you all marry and then live happily ever after. No, not that traditional home-based businesses that we are familiar with. We are talking about home-based F&B businesses that operate very much like a retail F&B business. Like for example, a landed property set up seats at the house, or inside the house for people to la kopi like they are in Starbucks, or even eating a full dinner with your friends inside a HDB flat like you have just booked a private room in the restaurant. And in the latest example, even buying from a level 1 HDB flat like it's a food truck. These businesses have kind of popped up in late 2024 and as expected, videos of these businesses went viral on TikTok. It also helped that some of the businesses were featured in mainstream media as well. Well, yeah, let's face it, people didn't comment negatively because we humans are supposed to be kind and help out all home-based businesses in the world so that we can appear kind. Luckily, I'm not a human, so I can say that. Anyways, it was just a matter of time before people who pay full rent started to make some noise. You see, comments about home-based F&B businesses are usually very positive, although Gombila will say that some people will just virtue signaling by siding with David in the David versus Driver fight without considering the full picture. But eventually, someone spoke up and it went viral. Early this month, someone who ran a restaurant and bar for 6 years spoke up, saying that it's not fair game since home-based eateries won't need to pay high rent and won't be regulated like traditional retail F&B businesses. It kind of went viral and news outlet picked it up as well. In a follow-up article on 16 June, more traditional eateries voiced out their frustration and the keyword is often this, unfair. Which then leads us to the question of the day, is it really legal? If you are looking to advertise your business in this channel, we can help you. There are guaranteed views and many big brands have trusted us. Just click on the link in the description. The short answer is, well, yes, and also no, depending on how a business is run. You see, the rule is simple, but yet quite broad. Residents living in HDB and private residential premises can carry out small-scale home-based food businesses. This even include having seats in their places for guests to makan. And while there is no hard number on the limit, the authorities mentioned in the Straits Times article that they should operate in a responsible and considerate manner and not cause disturbance or inconvenience to other residents in the neighborhood. However, there are some guidelines that ensuring that the premises remain a place of residence, not hiring workers from outside the household and not displaying physical advertisements or signage at the unit. And here's the thing, they do enforce the guidelines. Recently, a so-called food truck style home-based eatery in a level 1 HDB unit went viral, but because they had lots of physical advertisement or signage at the door, they were told to remove them. Now, what's left is a doorbell. How about the safety of the food then? Well, unlike traditional eateries, home-based businesses are not required to hold a Singapore Food Agency license because the food safety risk is limited by the scale of their business operation. Later I'll explain why food safety might be better for home-based businesses. But anyways, if the food is still not safe, SFA will take enforcement actions. And they have taken enforcement action 6 times in 2024 alone. Therefore, yes, to summarize, these Instagram-worthy home-based eateries you see in TikTok are all running legally. And as of now, traditional F&B eateries are not exactly calling a ban yet or just for the authorities to pay closer attention. After all, I bet that as some of you watch this, you will think,
hey, I can cook well. I should turn my living room into a private room for people to makan.
Hey, don't, your cooking tastes like cardboard, so don't believe what your husband and kids say please
How you know? How's my cooking just now?
The best food that I've eaten in my life.
Yeah, the gohan I cook, I used 3 spoons of olive oil. But because I fried it for exactly 3 minutes, it's crispy. Fang Tai told me if I fry for 6 minutes, then it will be more crispy.
Between eating and eating good food, I choose living. Now, why is it that food in home-based eateries are safer than, say, a caterer in a commercial kitchen? Watch this and you'll understand. And thank you for spending almost 5 minutes with me. I really appreciate it and hope that you learned something.